As schools are setting their budgets for next school year, now in the state legislature, lawmakers are working to fix a change in funding that was an unintended consequence of giving students across our state free meals. Schools used to use applications for free lunch as a measure for certain types of funding to help students in poverty. But without that money, jobs and programs are on thin ice. Raya Katani was at the Capitol today and has a look at the discussions underway.
At schools across Minnesota, big questions are looming, and district leaders like Zena Stenvik are at the Capitol in search of answers.
We do have to let our staff know in the next few weeks if they have a job for next school year.
Superintendent Stenvik leads Columbia Heights Public Schools, a district of about 3,400 students facing a loss next year of roughly $3.7 million.
Imagine cutting 85% of the teachers in one elementary school. That's what it equates to in our district. Not because our community and our families have suddenly become more wealthy, but just because the change in calculation.
It all comes down to how much money the state gives school districts in compensatory revenue. That's the funding districts get specifically for helping students in poverty.
The bottom line is that this funding is for the neediest students in the state of Minnesota.
Historically, this was measured using two metrics: how many students rely on government services like SNAP or Medicaid, and how many apply for free or reduced price lunch. But with every student in Minnesota now getting free school meals, the state will no longer consider free or reduced price lunch applications. Instead, it relies solely on how many students are getting government services, leading to an inaccurate representation of how many are actually experiencing poverty.
When we did that, we really threw the formula out of whack. So my bill would reintroduce those free and reduced lunch form counts into the formula.
A bill introduced in February by Democratic Representative Sandra Feist would also create a task force for figuring out a long-term solution. In a hearing this afternoon, some Republicans on the House Education Finance Committee say it's time to take a deep dive into this type of funding.
We need to determine if this funding is effective.
But as budget deadlines loom for school districts,
We have contractual obligations with our teachers.
they say they need answers now.
We'll continue following what happens with this bill and the education budget as a whole moving forward at the Capitol. Now, Superintendent Stenvik tells me the latest her district can wait to make staffing decisions is June 1st, but they have never waited that long before. School districts usually make these decisions in March and in April. Chris.